What up, what up, what up? How's everyone doing?
Great, doing great. How you doing?
I'm not bad, man. I'm not bad. I'm,
Yeah,
yeah, I know I've got a little bit of a headache, actually. Got a little bit of a headache, but drink it off.
that's right. It's good to be back.
How's your, yeah. When was the last time we were on? A couple weeks ago now, not too
Yeah,
long
like
ago.
two
We've had
two
longer
weeks ago
breaks.
or something. 2 weeks, yeah,
2 weeks
2 weeks.
ago. Perfect, yeah. But this might be the last one, mightn't it, for a while?
Well, we'll see. Yeah, our time zones are a little bit inconvenient these days. You
Yeah,
being out in APAC and
yeah.
being in the US, but we'll see. The hustle will continue. Maybe if it's
The
just
hustle
me
will
or if it's
continue.
just you, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Or maybe one of us
Yeah.
gets up real early or stays real late. We'll figure it out.
Look, man, I'm happy on either end. I'm happy on either end, but I think I'm happy to an early start. Not too late. I'm not going to go past 10 p.m. But we can definitely do an early start. We can definitely do a
Mm-hmm.
7 a.m. at my time or something, which is
Yeah.
6 p.m. your time if you got that.
All right. Yeah. Maybe
Anyway,
morning's my time, but we'll figure it out. So last time, give us a recap. Where we left off last time, Jake?
yeah. So for those of you who remember, last time we were building a pretty interesting gamified idea around x402. And what I'll do is I'll start sharing my screen. Let's bring that over here. Perfect. Thank you, Luis, which is the backstage team. So as you can see, this is essentially what we were aiming to build last time. Is this king of the hill idea, where we'd have a React app, so a website, which is integrated with x402. User comes along, and they need to pay using x402. And they're paying to become the king of the hill. They're paying to have to be on the top of this list, this sort of status list of how much you've paid and the fact that you are the current king of the hill. Now, the idea is that every time a new king of the hill is made, the next person needs to pay 1.5 times more what they previously paid. So, for example, if I become king of the hill by paying 1 USDC, Ashe then wants to become king of the hill. He needs to pay 1.5 USDC. Now, what else can we add to that? And one of the things that we were thinking about is, well, actually, when Ashe pays 1.5 USDC, this sort of treasury account is gonna end up with a bit of a surplus that, in theory, could be paid to the fallen king. So we maybe don't give them the whole 1.5, maybe we give them 1.1, right? So they've paid 1, they end up getting 1.1 back. And just a few different ideas. I mean, we also discussed maybe we could have an NFT where actually the king of the hill gets an NFT. Once a new king is made, we can wipe that NFT and issue the new NFT to the new king. Various sort of different things that we can do. But I think the token transfer going back to the old king could be an interesting one to explore today. What do you think, Ash?
Yeah, I think it creates a gamification that's fun. And the current king is the only person that hasn't been repaid for their claiming the hill. So yeah, I think it's cool. And this isn't a unique idea. I got to give credit where credit is due. Dan Larimer, the creator of BitShares and Steam and EOS, this was going to get integrated into the Voice.com Web3 social media, but for various reasons it didn't. And I thought it was a interesting idea, and I think we should integrate it.
Let's give it a try. I think I reckon let's go back to the old view, just because it's the old. Sorry, this is for backstage. If we just go back to the old view, screen's a bit bigger. That would be great. But something else which is worth noting. So we're going to use Hedera consensus service for the topic. Hedera consensus service is basically going to manage the game state. So every time a new king of the hill pays, we'll add a message onto the Hedera consensus service so that the website, the server can then actually read from the consensus service and figure out how much has been paid recently, what we need to pay what the next person needs to pay. So we're going to integrate Hedera consensus service, and then we can look at various other things sort of as we move on. What we built from last one was essentially I think I'm just going to do it. I'm going to.
Yeah, okay. There we go.
What was this one? Oh, not that. Definitely not that one. There we go. Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's a bit better. Backstage, if we can fix it to sort of the previous view that we had, where it was Ash and I on the right, and then screen really big, that'd be ideal. But back to sort of where we left off last time, we were basically just testing and showcasing x402. I think it's worth doing a quick recap on x402, where essentially x402 over here we have. Well, actually, it's probably better to get it on the x402 docs themselves. So x402 is a crypto/web-based payment protocol where essentially you can monetize things like API servers. You might have an existing server which has some business logic that you want to, which you want to expose. Typically, if that's sort of wrapped up behind your subscription service, there's no way for micropayments, there's no way for single use. However, with x402, what you can do is you can take that particular API endpoint, you can put it behind an x402 middleware. We've done all of this, and we'll go through it as we go on today, and structure it in such a way where, in order for someone, a human or an AI agent, to actually get the value of that particular API endpoint, they need to include a payment. So they might need to include the payment you decide, but they might need to include a payment. That payment gets settled on the blockchain, and after that settlement has come back as successful, then the person who's paid will receive that particular value. Okay, so that's a quick recap of x402. Ash, did I miss anything there? Anything else that you think is worth adding around x402 and its use cases? And tech? I think I've covered the tech side. Maybe you could go into some more use cases.
Yeah, I mean, specifically for this case, what we're doing is you can go to a page that's basically called Claim King or something like that. And this is going to have a payment request that you need to sign a transaction that you're provided and execute that on Hedera. And if you do that, then you become king. But anybody can go to the page and see who the current king of the hill is. But if you actually want to claim king, that's paywalled, if you will, behind the 402 payment required endpoint. And so that's what we're building towards right now.
Yeah. So I think in terms of what we're going to focus on today, we can extend our extend the current app which we've got. So the current app is very simple. It just shows a React app. We've got a server in the background. So we have our we've got our we've got our server on the background, which is actually hosting the x402 paywall logic that is paying to become the new king of the hill. We have our own facilitator. The facilitator is responsible for taking that payment transaction and actually executing it onto the Hedera blockchain. And we then also have our React app, which I think is probably, it's not running right now, but we have our React app, which we can spin up. Start. Oops. And this React app is essentially at the moment, it's just comparing what a request to an x402 server looks like without a payment versus with a payment. Mm-hmm. So if, for example, we call it without a payment interceptor, we see that it comes back saying x402 x payment error. It comes back with a 402 status error. That's where the name x402 comes from, means payment required. And then it says that the X payment header is required. If we, on the other side, call it with payment interceptor, looks like I hadn't stopped the server properly. There we go, let's try it now. number. What's happened over here? There's an error. This is invalid price 0. Price to pay. I know what it is. I did some logic the other day which sort of randomly generates a number to showcase the dynamic nature of it, but that means that it can randomly generate 0. So that's +1, so that it's always a whole number. Let's do that.
This is just for testing.
Yeah, this is just me sort of testing some stuff the other day, so should be okay now if I try one more time. There we go. We can see it's actually cooling, and then it comes back. Status 200, meaning it's been successful. We can check over the signer. We can have a look on Hashscan, and we can see that there should be a recent transaction of 6 USDC. Oof, I need to be a bit stingy with it because we don't have too much USDC.
Yeah.
I've probably almost run out, to be fair. So I'd be amazed if I have much more. I can transfer it back over. They're both my accounts.
Okay.
Let's just do that now so that we can make sure we don't get.
Yeah, we'll start at like 1/100th of a penny or something.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So we need to get it from this account over here.
Fun fact.
This account should have loads of USDC at the moment.
While you're managing testnet USDC, the United States Mint is no longer producing pennies.
Damn.
Even, it shows you how efficient the government is, that it can't even make money out of profit.
Yeah. They just need to make it 2 pennies.
It's like your business is literally a monopoly on making money, and you can't even do it profitably.
Well, to be fair, it's never going to be more profitable than just adding some zeros on some sort of database, is it? Which is basically what fiat is now.
Yeah, we're well on our way.
Yeah, cool. So
all right,
I've just reset that. So basically, yeah, this is what we've got at the moment. Now, in terms of what's next, I think there's a few things that we can do. I think the first thing is set up a Hedera consensus topic.
Yep.
So set up a Hedera consensus topic which contains game state.
Yep.
We also need to query, so add service to query the HCS state and feedback
to the front end.
Feedback new price to the front end.
Yeah, I think we need price and current king and be able to fetch previous king.
Right. So we need to
all kings.
So we want to do got you. So we want to go current king. Well, we want to fetch all kings. Yeah, fetch
just all kings.
All kings in order and the amount that they've paid.
Yep.
Okay, and then we just need to update basically, don't we?
Yeah, we need to build a web app.
Yeah, so we sort of update React app to accommodate this. So what we can do, I think, okay, let's first just create the Hedera consensus service topic. Now, for that, I'm going to head over to Hedera portal. And I'm going to go to the Hedera playground. This is the most easy way to just quickly experiment and build stuff on Hedera. Want
to give a quick shout out to Ed and the other teams that built the portal for us. I mean, the playground.
Big shout out to them. Big shout out to the DevRel team. It's a shame that everyone has my testnet account ID, but whatever. Let's just add to loads of. Okay. So yeah, shout out to the DevRel team and Ed who's been managing this. This is my personal opinion, quickest way, whether you're new to Hedera or whether you are experienced on Hedera like myself and Ashe, this is really the place where if you want to quickly learn about new concepts or prototype something or just build something very quickly, Hedera Portal is a great tool for that. And obviously in our case, we're going to be basically be doing step number 1, setting up a Hedera consensus service topic, which contains game state. So I'm just going to create a topic over here. We now have our topic. What we do want to do is we want to make it such that it's a private topic. So for that, we want to, when creating the topic transaction, we want to give it a set.
And what Jake means by a private topic, not private in the sense that only we can read it, private in the sense that only we can write to it.
Yeah, exactly. So we need to basically give it a submit key. And this submit key, it doesn't need to just be one account. The submit key can be a composite key. So it could be, you could have, for example, a multi-key where you need to have 5 different accounts and keys. 5 different keys need to sign it to actually make it submit a transaction. Or you could have a threshold key where maybe 1 out of 5 different keys can sign it and submit to the network. Now, let's say we wanted to have, I don't know, say we were to productize this and we wanted to have multiple different clusters, multiple different servers on the back end to handle high load. We could technically give each server their own private key with a 1 out of n threshold and use that to, so that you only need 1 key to submit. We're going to keep it much simple. We're just going to use a single 1 out of 1 key. And we're going to make sure that the key we're using, we have available on our server, on this API server over here, this x402 server. So at the moment, we don't actually have a private key in here, but we can add one. We'll just do the same account, the same address that we are receiving HBAR to, which is, again, it's in my Hedera portal account. So we'll create the submit key. We're going to use the key for that particular account. And by the way, if you do have any questions, as always, drop them in the comments. We can, I've got an eye on the comments up here, so we can definitely answer any questions as we go. But we're creating a topic. I'm giving it a submit key, which only my account is able to use. And we are then executing that. So we're submitting that topic create transaction to the network and we're getting the topic ID. If we just execute this, we can see very quickly I've created a Hedera consensus service topic, which has a submit key. So we've got the create topic. Let's take a look at the topic ID. And as you can see, it's got this submit key over here, which is tied to my account. But it's got no messages because obviously we've not actually submitted any data to it.
So the next step is to what? Just use our backend to set the first key, or should we just build the logic and then build the front end and then start doing it from the setting the key?
Yeah, so I think we can maybe even go a bit slower. Let's first just decide what the data structure is going to look like. Sure. What are we going to be submitting to the Hedera consensus service? What are we going to be submitting there? So over here, again, HCS, submit a message, you can do all of that stuff. Now this, you can submit basically anything as a message to the Hedera consensus service topic. There is, of course, a limit when it comes to, there is a limit, of course, when it comes to the
number of characters or the files or the size.
Yeah, file size, right, exactly, the file size. However, you can do an object, for example. So in theory, we could do something like, let's do JSON.stringify. We could do a account ID, which would be 0.0.123, whatever the user's account ID is. And then we could also do
price paid.
Now, price paid, yeah. Let's just call it amount.
Yeah.
Now to seed it, so what we'll do is, we'll sort of seed it with the value now, because if we're going to say that we're just going to read from the consensus service and then multiply that by 1.5, the consensus service will need to have sort of a seed value to begin with. So we'll just have it over here like a 0, this particular account, and we'll say to start with, I don't know, maybe they've paid 0.0001, something like this.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so that is 1/10 of a cent. That's 100th of a cent. That's 100th of a cent.
100th of a cent, right?
Yeah. It'll scale up relatively quickly, but it will be good for a while.
Is it worth adding what asset was used to pay?
Yeah. So I think for now it's going to default to USDC.
Yeah. So maybe we don't need that for our example then.
Yeah, probably don't if we just assume it's USDC.
Is it worth saving what position the king was? So this was the first king, second king, third king, or can we just derive that by iterating through the topic?
Yeah, we can derive that, because obviously time-wise we'll have to have submitted it after the previous one. So if we just sort of order the topic messages by the timestamp, that will give us the order. Now, this is by no means completely bulletproof, because let's say we were to have really high load where, I don't know, 10 people were submitting a message at the same time, the consensus service, they'd all probably pay the same amount. So it's not, we do have these almost race conditions, but for what we're building here, this is completely fine. And actually, a solution for that sort of race condition would probably be doing all within smart contracts. But then it's more difficult for maybe an AI agent to interact with it. So we'll keep doing what we're doing. It's still, So we'll create a new topic, and we'll see the new message. We can then use this existing topic ID to build on top of that. So I'm going to click execute. We'll get the topic ID. It will have its initial message sent over with that topic ID, as you can see. So if we go over to our new topic ID that we've created, this particular ID, we can see that now it has this message, which is technically the current king of the hill.
Right. Long live the king.
Long live the king. So in theory, all we need to do now is, firstly, we'll add the topic ID in our x402 server. We also, because we're now going to be actually submitting to the Hedera network on our x402 server, we also need to have a private key of an account. So I'm going to add that in over here as well. Private key equals what we have over here. And remember, this private key needs to be the same as the submit key that you've set, or that I've set. We're also going to need to install the JavaScript SDK for Hedera. So I'm going to go over there, and actually I think we've got a new namespace. Let's go Hashgraph SDK. I think we've migrated over to Hiro SDK. So let's take a look. Hiro Ledger SDK. There we go. Yeah, so we'll use we'll use this. This is what people should, in theory, be installing now. It's exactly the same while we're sort of migrating over. But for those of you who don't know, the Hedera, or the Hiro SDKs now live under the Hiro namespace. For those of you who don't know, Hiro is all of the open source code that governs and runs the Hedera network. Okay, so I'm installing the Hiro Ledger SDK. And then we can also create the logic which submits the new message after the x402 payment's been made. Okay. Oof, I've got an idea, Ash. So Hgraph, they've got a new MCP server. Well, maybe I'll just quickly showcase it, because we could actually use the Hgraph MCP server to query the consensus service. But then that's I'm just going to take a little bit of a detail. I do want to show what you can do with the MCP server for Hgraph. So let's say we go. I've got the Hgraph MCP server connected with my Codex, my OpenAI coding agent, and I can say query this topic ID and give me the messages, and it should know to query the Hgraph MCP. There we go. Calling Hgraph load context. So it's loading all of the information now in terms of how to use the MCP server.
This would be for people who don't want to write a script to go and query this from the mirror node, or maybe want it in a more convenient place than having to go to Hashscan. Wouldn't it be nice if Hashscan had some sort of natural language query built into it?
It would be nice. It would be nice. Yeah, definitely be nice.
Basically, all the functionality that this MCP server gives us, but baked right in.
Yeah. It'd be pretty cool. Now, what you could also do is let's say I wanted to use the Hgraph APIs to actually query to do the query. You could use this to write the code for you, because the Hgraph MCP knows how to write code, right? So you could actually use this to write the code. But
I made an analogy yesterday on X that we're currently in the dial-up phase of AI. I mean, look at, for such a simple query, this has already taken a minute and 40 seconds. Like,
yeah. And it doesn't even seem to be getting it right.
As someone who grew up in the dial-up phase of the internet, this reminds me of this. I can remember waiting for images to load, just like we're waiting for AI answers. So let's just skip this. We'll work with the Hgraph team and see if this. I had an issue with it the other day as well. Maybe it's offline right now or something. I don't know.
Maybe. Well, it didn't seem to work for some reason. It looked like the query made sense, but regardless, we now have our higher ledger SDK. So basically, in this is the x402 business service endpoint that we've got a payment on, and just as a quick recap in terms of what's going on here, we've got our King of the Hill endpoint. So this should actually really be a post endpoint, so we can change that. But this is the King of the Hill endpoint, and inside of it, we're going to be fetching the HCS topic. So our topic ID can actually come from process. Can come from process.env.topic ID now, because we've got it inside of our environment variables. That's then going to be fetching it. I mean, at the moment, it just returns a random number. But in theory, it's going to be fetching the previous price, the most recent price from the mirror node. We could do that today. And then it's going to be multiplying it by 1.5. So it will be most recent price from the mirror node. We can see it over here, 0.0001. We'll just multiply that by 0.5.
And are we capturing amount in JSON, in the JSON right here correctly? Number equals.
Oh, so for now we need to implement this logic. For now, it's just returning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Random.
So
okay.
It's just a random number right now. Then it's creating that x402 payment requirements So it'll obviously be taking that dynamically generated number, specifying it's going to be on the Hedera testnet and so on. Verifying the payment, cool, actually settling the payment. And then once it's settled, here we also need to add some more logic, which would be another function, which would be await.
Like,
so here
do we need like a set new king function or something?
Yeah, set new king. Exactly, yeah. So we'll do set new king again. That will take our process.env.topic ID. It will also take the address of the payer.
Yep.
Which, where does that come from?
Yeah, I think you were just querying it.
And then the amount which they've paid is price.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to think where
that would be in the that would be in the. Will we have to get that from the facilitator? Because no, we got to create that transaction. So we need to know who.
Yeah, I reckon we definitely get it somewhere. Fee payer.
Well, the fee payer is probably going to be the facilitator.
Ah, that's right. Yeah. The fee, yeah, that is right. I've got a feeling. I've got a feeling it's if we decode this payment. This is me sort of learning something as well. Decoded. Oh, let's go payload. I'm sure it'll be in the payload somewhere.
You know, we can know this because the user is going to be logged in. Oh no. Yeah, users would need to. Well, if we're doing agents,
we can get it other ways. There are lots of ways to get it in fairness. But I'm just thinking it's because we could sort of pass it as an extra parameter in this request. But what I'm thinking would make.
As if an agent was using this, though, you know, they can sign, so they wouldn't need to log in with the wallet, so we wouldn't know what that agent's account ID is.
True.
We would almost have to like send an HTTP request to ask for it or something ahead of time.
Yeah, I mean, I because it's definitely part of the transaction body, right? The Hedera transaction needs to see it. So I think when we decode this payment, I've just logged it over here. I've got a feeling it will show up. Let's just we've got this. Let's comment this out for the time being. So let's just quickly test that. So I want to go. Let's do a new payment. No, let's actually just first reduce. Well, I guess what we can do is, let's implement the logic which queries the previous price. So we've got our topic ID. So now I'm just going to hard code it to begin with. It will just be the so the request await fetch, and it'll be the Hedera testnet. So testnet.hedera.com/API/v1. And then I think there's slash. Let's double check this. Hedera mirror node. Let's have a look at the mirror node docs. So we basically want to query the consensus topic. So list topic messages by ID. Yeah, that's the exact one that we want. So it's topic/topic ID/messages. Just like that. So this here should query our topic, testnet.mirrornode.hedera.com. Testnet, yeah, perfect. This should be an async function. And within that request body, we should get this messages array with our message. Now, this is an important thing to notice. Our message, when you query the Hedera mirror node, just as I can do it in our browser now, actually. So if I take this, let's just do this request. And our topic ID is over here. No, not that one. Our topic ID is this one. So if I query the mirror node, topics. If I query the mirror node, this is the response I get back. And as you can see, this message is not very human readable. That's because this message is encoded as base 64. So we'll also need to add a bit of logic to decode base 64 decode. But we'll see once we decode it over here, it gives us what we're looking for. So that's just an important thing to note when you are querying the Hedera consensus service for the topic messages. So we're going to get a messages array. So we've got our messages array request JSON, and then if we order it by descending, which you can do, order by descending, we'll also add that parameter in just to make sure. I think by default it automatically orders by descending, but if we just do order equal descending, this will make sure that the timestamp goes descending. So the newest one first, and then descending timestamps, smaller timestamps go down. And then with that, we know that our previous price is the king of the hill, the most recent king of the hill. So we've got our const recent message equals the first item inside of this messages array. And then finally, actual message content is going to be messages.message. So we've got our dot message. Now remember, this is going to be in base 64. So we need to decode that. This will be basically, so we need to decode. And in fact, if we just console this now, let's go console log message. We'll see. We can run a quick test now. Let's just return 0.001 for the time being, keep it small. We will be able to test our server. Just see the logs up in here. So if I go, even actually, I think I can test it with this client. There we go. Something happened here. Oh, price to pay, not a number.
Are we fetching the original price correctly at 0001?
No, it's because
Did you remove your test case?
No. So what happened was, so because we've added this async, so we've made this function asynchronous. We've basically told in JavaScript, we said, okay, this function is going to be asynchronous. It's going to do things like network queries. It's going to query the internet. It's not going to do stuff which can be done sort of within the same computer. So we added this async flag, and that's obviously needed because we're querying this API. But by labeling it async, it then is treated in JavaScript as slightly different. It's what's now called a promise. So over here, when we call it, it's not returning the number, it's returning a promise, which then returns the number. So we need to resolve the promise. We need to put an await over here, and then we can multiply that by 1.5. Did that make sense, Ash?
Yeah. I've run into this before building JavaScript apps, small JavaScript apps.
Yeah. So I thought I'd explain that in case there's anyone who's
Yeah, it's tricky because you got to catch and manage those promises.
Exactly. So as we can see, price to pay. Yeah, so it's done it. We've messages over here. Got our recent message. And then we've also got this. This is what I did earlier. We've got that payload, which unfortunately just returns this big transaction. Now that transaction. Okay, this is something that we can play around with, I think, in the Hedera portal, because I've got a feeling that this is what I logged just earlier. Down here, payload.
Why did it return? This is the message.
No. It's I've logged two things here. I think let's just recap, because I think there's a couple of threads going on. So we logged the previous message. That logged fine. That's over here. That's this log up here, recent message, and this is our base 64 encoded. This is our base 64 encoded string. So that's exactly the same thing over here. To get the message, we just need to decode this. So let's just take a quick reminder: decode base 64 on JavaScript on Node. Let's quickly do this. I think, yeah.
Just so we can print it out to the console.
Base 2 ASCII should be fine. We can do up over here. So we've got our recent message. So let's do decoded message equals base 2 ASCII, and then that takes our recent message. And then if we can now log the decoded message, which is going to be a JSON string. So actually what we can do is we can do JSON.parse decoded message. Now, obviously in a real app, you probably want to do some error handling to make sure that the in this case, you want to do some handling to make sure that you're actually decoding the right thing, but we're just building a little proof of concept, so not going to worry about that. And then, let's run that. I've just seen a comment from about 15 minutes ago. So Henry has asked, can you please specify what x402 package was used? I see many on the npm registry, or is it the Hedera's implementation here? Actually, that's what we're using. Actually, at the moment, we don't have an npm package, which we should do. So actually, we will deploy an npm package for x402 on Hedera, but that repo which you've shared is exactly correct. That's the current implementation for Hedera and x402. It's where you can find the facilitator. It's where you can find some example servers, and we'll also probably include this app into the GitHub repo. We're gonna add that in.
So you just need to use our SDK for now until we get that npm package published, like we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's what I'm actually inside of our GitHub repo now, and I'm building on top of that. But it's a really good question, Henry, and appreciate you asking that. So over here we've decoded the message. Yeah, we can actually just say let's go latest price, and then if we should optimistically check our, was it amount we called it, or did we call it price? I think we called it amount.
I think we said amount, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just going to comment this out for the time being. We had the other this console log. Let's just comment this out for the time being. So if I spin up that server again, I send it a new request, we should, did I do it the wrong way?
Decoding that 64, base 64.
Decodes a string into bytes. And then yeah, I've done the wrong way. It should actually be. Okay, well, let's actually use the buffer API. Let's go buffer.from recent message and then to UTF-8. And then that should be buffer. Okay, there's. Okay, I think that's the right one. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. So this layer's price, this is coming from the consensus service. So that's that 0.0001, which we can see over here.
Nice.
Base decoder 0.0001. So that's working fine. Now, the other thing that we wanted to do, which is obviously submitting a message. So we need to be able to submit a message. Now, in order to submit a message, we need to do this data structure. We need to have the account ID and the amount. We've got of the new amount paid. We've got the new amount. We don't have the account ID in the current state of things. Now, we can easily get the account ID. I think we can also find the account ID in this long transaction sort of sorry about that. Yeah, in here somewhere we can also get the transaction ID of the sender, but this is a sort of special Hedera buffer, which we might be able to start sort of decoding in here. So I'm just going to write some code to test it out.
All right.
And I'm going to do it in the Hedera playground. Ash, do jump in, because I know I've got it in my head, but I don't think I've communicated it perfectly.
Yeah, it's just it's going to be a different thing though. Whenever we're signing the transactions right now, so we know the account ID. But whenever we deploy this and we have, we need to support like a wallet connect or something, then it's going to be different. We'll have to pull that account ID differently because we don't know who's going to be logging in until they log in and connect with. But we can grab it from the front end, I guess, at that point. Whoever's logged in.
So that's actually why I'm going for this approach, because this approach, what I've copied here, this is the transaction bytes. So this is the actual transaction bytes of the transaction that's going to be submitted, and in those transaction bytes.
But you had to know the account ID before you built the transaction bytes, though.
But that's done on the client side. So the client is.
Right.
Yeah. So by this time, this is definitely going to be the payer. Will definitely be part of that transaction. So
right. Okay.
I'm pretty sure if we do let's take the transaction. I'm pretty sure if we do transaction from bytes, and okay, maybe we need to.
I think I can walk through the use case for the audience here, Jake, while you're building.
Yeah, cool.
So what's happened is that here's the scenario: someone, either a human or an agent, comes and wants to become the new king. They click on the claim crown button, and we create a transaction for them. And then they sign it, and we create those transaction bytes, pass it back to the agent or the human to sign. And that gets submitted to Hedera and executed on chain. What we're doing now is we're grabbing that the signed transaction bytes back from the mirror node, Jake, or we have the facilitator, so we can just pass those back to ourselves.
Yeah, so what's actually happening is the transaction bytes get sent to the x402 server. The x402 server, in theory, just needs to forward it on to the mirror node. Sorry, to the facilitator. So as you can see over here, we've got this settle function, which is that settle function has the payload, and that payload is just our transaction bytes at the moment. So that we have that payload which is being executed on the facilitator. In the meantime, we can look into it.
Yep.
I mean, maybe I could even just go from by. So this needs to be a unit array. So I need to get. I've done this lots of times in the past, but we basically need to get this base 64 into a transaction. Well, there'll even be examples of it over here.
We just need to convert that to a standard ASCII string, don't we?
Well, there's a few steps that we need to do. I think this is what we want. So first thing we need to, this is a byte array. First thing we need to convert it into this uint array format. Then we can pass it through this special Hedera transaction API, which takes in the bytes. And now we have this Hedera transaction, which we should, let's just make sure this works. Let's see. There we go.
There we go.
So you can see this is actually it's actually got some stuff here.
That's right.
So in here, if we go to the token transfers, as you can see, it's got a token transfer. So we could actually do, let's go _token transfers. This will now be an array.
Now we're pulling the token, we're pulling the account who transferred the USDC token effectively to get our operator.
Yes. Okay. Yes. So we can, let's iterate over these. We've got tx _token transfers .map, and let's just do .for each. So I'm going to iterate over each of these token transfers. Now, there's only going to be 2 items in this array because one person is sending it, one person's receiving it. And if we then do, let's go.
Yeah, just whoever has the negative balance, I guess.
Yeah,
should,
so
remember, Jake, that since this is working through a facilitator, the facilitator is also going to have a negative balance because they're paying for the transaction fee.
But the facilitator won't show up on this USDC token transfer. They're going to just
the USDC token transfer.
Okay. So this is specific for that. So we've got we can take a look at our, let's console.log. Let's go console.log item dot. So first we'll do the account ID .toString. Now it's not typing any of this, but I can tell what the names are based on over here. And then we can also do console.log item dot amount dot toString. This should. Cannot read properties undefined. .toString. Account ID, that's fine. There we go. Boom. See over here? We've got our from account. So this is the account which is account.
And then the 129 account is the one that transferred.
The 129 account is the one that's transferred it because they are the one who is negative. So that's how we know. That's how we can get our sender account. So let's and you can see how I've quickly prototyped this inside of Portal, just because actually it ends up being much quicker than having to sort of write the code again. Now we can just copy and paste what we have. If I go back over to our repo.
So now we're pulling a dynamic price.
Yeah.
And we know who transferred, and so we know the new king or queen, and we know how much they paid, and now we have the full payload that we can use to submit to a new message on our HCS topic.
Exactly. So let's ignore that for a second. So okay, so yeah, so we've got our, we can take that payload, we can take that transaction, we're decoding that, we can then go transaction from bytes, so that comes over here, and then we have our transaction, then we need to iterate over our transactions, so boom, let's just do that, and what we can then say is we've got our new king account ID. To begin with, will just be an empty string, but then once we iterate over, then I'm sure there's a more efficient way of doing this, I just want to get it done. Once we then iterate over it, pretty sure it does. And then if we say if item is less than 0, then we'll take the new king account ID and we'll set that equal to the item account ID .toString.
Yep.
So that's basically what we're going to do. And again, let's just console log that to make sure it works. Console.log new king. And then we can create the logic to actually upload that to the consensus topic too. So I think we've got everything. Yeah, let's give it a spin. We can remove the old. We can remove this stuff, don't need that. Let's also return decoded message.amount, because that's going to be our just so we have that dynamic sort of flow end to end. So that's cool. We've now, yeah, so we're dynamically fetching it from the Hedera consensus service topic. We are also hopefully dynamically getting the new king. And if we do a quick test end to end, unless we've got a dodgy error. Did I not log it? I did log it. So here's an interesting thing. We're being faced with
what is that random one?
Yeah, so this is just one of the issues with decimals in coding in general. They're not always very accurate. Often coding can sometimes make mistakes. So I think to mitigate that, we can do a...
Well, we should be able to truncate, because USDC on Hedera only goes to what, 8 decimals?
Yeah, well, this is in cents. So this would be the facilitator automatically handles the decimal conversion. What's happening here is we've got 0.0001 from the topic, and we are then multiplying it by 1.5, and just because of maths, maths is a bit dodgy on maths isn't perfect with computers. It seems to think that 0.0001 times by 1.5 is that.
Oh, right.
This
This is European math.
I think it was Americans who did coding, mate. But so we can fix it. I mean, let's get AI to fix this. Let's just go.
I mean, can we not just truncate and just do it fast and sloppy?
Well,
we also. How many decimal places do we have on USDC? Is it
6?
6. Okay.
Or 8? 6. 6. Yeah. 6.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just going to do it with AI because we can then go.
I mean, theoretically, we could just truncate anything after the 6th significant digit. After the 6th digit.
Yeah, you could do that with the string, but the thing is, we've got a number here, so I think that let's give it a try. So if we do dot, does it have this? I need to look at the dot to precision.
There we go.
Number of significant. Okay, so we want to do 6, but then this also factors in decimals. So I think we want to have 8. I think we
have 8 would support us up to $99.999999.
Oh yeah, true. Because that 2 fixed fraction. This is better. Number is just after decimal point. 8. And the reason why 8 is because this is already got some sort of decimals included. This is already 2 decimals essentially.
Well, I mean, it's 8 because USDC on Hedera only supports 8 decimals. So anything after
No.
8.
No. Hedera USDC supports 6.
Oh.
But because this is we already have 2 decimals here. We already shift. We need to. I'm pretty sure this is right. It's we need to.
We'll try.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So that's good. Left hand side must be.
Just a heads up, we are at the halftime of the show. I think we're doing all right for halftime. Yeah, we are.
We're doing all right. We've not actually done any vibe coding. We'll get the vibe coding on the front
we'll get the vibe on the front
end.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But okay, so what have we got here? So we've got. Right, what's this error over here? Left hand side of the. Yeah, well, it's a number. String. Oh, okay, interesting. Then we can just do 2. Hang on. So that returns a string. Okay, brilliant. So okay, let's make that a number again. Number. All right, perfect. Okay, let's try it one more time. We should see that it doesn't have that funky zeros at the end. Brother, what? I wonder if it's.
Yeah, I mean, for our example, we could probably just do it by a significant digit.
Oh, bro, we're doing that conversion before the multiplication. We need to do it after. Yeah. Okay. So here we want to say, after this, we want to go.
Yeah.
Dot 2 fixed. 8. There we go. That's what we want. Okay. There we go.
Let's go. Let's go.
Cool. Perfect.
Yeah.
Now I don't know what this here is saying, but anyway, so that's successful. So we're doing that. All good.
We
I still
got the
don't
right
know
price.
why. Yeah. We got the right
account
price.
ID.
Well, I don't think we do yet. For some reason, it's not. Doesn't seem to be logging this new king.
Are we? Do we need to? Are we calling that? Is there a function that we need to call, or is this all just inline?
Yeah, this is all just sort of inline. So I'm not sure why. Is it because it's no? It's not erroring. Price to pay. Success. I don't know what this is. Don't know what this is there, but it seems like it is working ultimately. Is it?
I thought that we had previously successfully pulled the account ID from the transaction.
Well, we did on the portal, but I'm trying to successfully pull it on our server. Yeah, it does look like there's actually an error happening. Well, what is the actual error? Because we're getting this catch block to run, and the error is error invalid argument type. It's not very helpful.
That's an x402 error, not a Hedera error.
Yeah, I think so. Was this error happen? Okay, it might be some of this stuff which is throwing the error. So if I comment this out. It's annoying this doesn't automatically refresh. I'm having to restart it every time. If I run that, does the same error happen? No, okay. So the error is somewhere in these lines of code.
This is where we're getting the bytes, the transaction bytes.
Yeah, so and that explains why this isn't running. But somewhere, I mean, it must just be. Payload. I think that's why.
TX, I think.
I think it's because we have got a wrong object somewhere. Didn't save it. Let's see what these logs are saying. Invalid argument type.
It says the first argument should be of type string or an instance of
Yeah,
buffer.
but so we've got payload. Yeah, so it's because
What are we not?
Yeah, it's just a little. We need to add payload. That's all it is. This should do the trick. This should do the trick. All right. There we go. Kind of worked. But new king is still an empty string. So it's
What
probably
should it be
because our
pulling?
logic. Oh yeah, because I'm doing item rather than item dot amount. Should be item dot amount. Let's fix the logic in here. We're good in there. We're good in there.
Yeah, we're getting close.
Taking time, because if we run this.
So once we grab this,
there we go. There we go. So it's because I didn't do the amount of this item. I was just saying item. There.
And so,
should now fix. Okay. Go on, Ash. Were you going to say something there?
yeah, I just say. So is the facilitator passing back the signed transaction bytes to you, so that you can decode that?
No. We're passing it to the facilitator. It goes from the client to the middleware, then to the facilitator.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So before we hand it over, we can sort of intercept it. As you can see, we've got it. Amazing. We have done it. We've got the new king.
Perfect. So we've got the new king. We've got the new price.
Yeah.
So
now we can set the new king.
Yeah, set the new king on the consensus service, and then this is our guts. After this, we should be able to build the UI.
After this is just the UI, and then we can do the refund. Then we can do the refund.
We're in good timing here. 45 minutes.
Yeah, we're doing good. Timing's nice. Timing's nice.
We always come in hot to the final 15 minutes. It's just the way we hustle.
Okay, so let's create our new function over here. So this is going to take it's this really weird, this x402 repo. It's got this really weird thing where it adds all of these like lines in between it. It's just very distracting. But whatever. Okay, so here we're going to take, what is this? Topic ID. We've got topic ID, we've got the new account ID, also a string, and we have the amount, should be a number, and then here we're going to need our client, so that's going to be our client from Hedera dot for testnet dot set operator. And this would be our process.env.count ID. ID and process.env.private key. That's, I think, what we've got our names over here. Address is called address and private key. Got those, then we want to do a topic submit message. So we have that code already, example of that up here. If we do HCF submit a message, this is the logic needed for our topic message submit. Boom. And import that. And then this message is going to be the JSON.stringify of the, how are we structuring it over here? We've got our account ID and amount. Boom. Then we need to submit it. So we just submit that using here. And then that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Boom, there we have it. So we've got our set new king function. And price, what's the price? Price is number.
And that's pulling price from the transaction.
Yes, that's pulling price from the.
And does
that's pulling the new price that they would have had to pay.
And is the facilitator calling us back saying success? This transaction was a success.
Yeah,
because we
So-
need that before we write.
Exactly. So this is happening after the settle.
Right.
So basically, these two functions over here, settle and where is it?
And settles an endpoint on the facilitator.
Yes.
And so do we call that endpoint with a transaction ID or something to see if it was settled, or is it the facilitator call us back on a webhook?
So it's just a request and response. So as you can see over here, we've got this use facilitator hook, which gives us these functions verify and settle. So the first thing that we do is we call that verify, which calls the verify endpoint on the facilitator. Then we go, okay, yeah, this will be successful transaction. Let's actually submit it. So then the settle function is what's actually then calling the facilitator. As you can see, we pass in the payload and the payment requirements. Then we get a response back from the facilitator. So from that response, we can then go, yeah, that was a successful transaction. And this will basically throw an error if it's not. So after this is when we actually add the new king of the hill. And essentially, if we test this one more time, we should, assuming we've done the coding right, we should have a new message on our topic ID. So let's go over to Hashgraph and check the messages. If we try this another time, boom, new king.
Yeah, let's go. Yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
All right.
So now if we do it again,
is ready.
Yeah, let's do it again just to make sure it's still multiplying it by 1.5.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Bosh.
Yeah, let's go.
That's looking good. That is looking good.
And just for the audience, we're not using, like you'll notice, we didn't set up a database or anything to keep this locally. You know, we're just using the Hedera consensus service to store our game state. It's all transparent and visible to anyone, and we pull it from there, and we're going to use that to update our web app.
Yeah, exactly. So now let's get some vibe coding in. We've not done any vibe coding yet. So
let's do it.
Now is perfect time to do some. Now is a perfect time to do some vibe coding. So I'm going to get my coding agent up. We can use this model. We'll first do the old classic create a plan, and then we'll sort of execute it. And I think the key things that we want to do is on the front end, we have them mapped over here, add a service, fetch all of the kings in order. So we want to fetch that recursively, find the amount that they've paid, and then update the React app. So let's create our sort of plan. So I need to build a front end that interacts with the king of the hill endpoint in advanced. Oh, hang on, I'm in a wrong. Yeah, let me move it there actually. I'm in the wrong repo.
So we need endpoints that we need are fetch kings. I guess we just need fetch. Fetch kings, and that's it, right? On the front end side.
Fetch kings. Yeah. I think that's basically it. I need to build a front end interest with the king of the hill endpoint in advanced.
Well, and set king, set new king. I guess those are 2 endpoints we need.
Well, no, because set king's done on the actual x402 server. So the React app only needs to get them.
Oh, it just needs to the payment required endpoint.
Yeah. That payment required endpoint, that does the updating. So I need to build a front end then. So okay. We should have the front end should replace our current UI app.js. The front end should fetch the HTS topic. It's over here. Should fetch the HTS topic and list the kings of the hill. Should list the kings of the hill with their account ID and price. And then we want to have the response looks like this. There we go. So I just set an example because I wanted to know that it's got the links. So were we to deploy this, obviously we want to show that every single king, and it might be greater than 100, for example.
Yeah.
So we've got that, and we also want to.
Because we should display like the primary king, and then display just like a king pass king board, which is the fallen kings board.
Emphasize the primary king or the current king.
Current king, yeah.
And show list of fallen kings. Okay, and then we also want to make sure add a button for the user, the signer, to dethrone the king.
Yeah. Assuming this works, we should extend this to calculate how long each account was the king.
Good idea. Okay. I don't think we really need to
we can wait on that.
Yeah, but that's a good shout. That's a good shout. And another thing that we can then think about as well, and maybe we should create a plan for this, is if we go over here. So we wanted to, while this is cooking in the background, one of the things that we wanted to do is also refund the previous king. So one of the things that we can then do, let's create our own separate plan in like a new coding agent terminal, which creates a plan to do that refund policy. Create a plan which extends the current king of the hill endpoint so that not only does it submit a new message with the new king, but it also does a transaction to the old king with the value of the amount they paid times by 1.1.
Okay. I think we should probably just get the initial web app up without the rebate for now.
Yeah, I'm just getting this to plan so we can have a few things going on in parallel.
Yeah.
And then, because the thing is, bro, like you were saying earlier, man, these coding agents, they take so long.
We're in the dial-up, man. Let's let's just appreciate that we're in dial-up AI right now.
Yeah.
It really makes me nostalgic, you know. We're AOL 3.0 right now.
Because what you need to do is you really need to be productive with AI, you need to have stuff running in parallel.
At this point, yeah.
You need to have stuff running in parallel, because otherwise it's just, I mean, the stuff which we did earlier, this coding which I was doing manually, I did that on purpose because I knew that actually if we were getting AI to do it, bro, we'd be waiting for longer.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been playing around a lot with local LLMs, and I was telling you, Ash, I bought that NVIDIA DGX Spark. I bought this little computer over here, DGX Spark, which is basically a custom. It's like a PC dedicated for AI. So it's got if you have a look at the specs. Let's have a look at the specs over here. Where does it find the features? Yeah, so it's got the new Blackwell architecture, which is sort of the state-of-the-art NVIDIA chip architecture, 128 gigabytes of RAM, which means that, it can run AI models with up to 200 billion parameters.
And this is GPU RAM. This isn't standard RAM.
This is GPU RAM, yeah, exactly. So this is like proper sort of GPU, not like, this is stuff which the GPU can access, essentially.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool, man. Yeah, I've been playing around, been doing some fine tuning, doing all sorts of cool stuff. I've not yet used it for coding locally, but I think it'll still be better. There we go. It's looking to, it's removing some of the old stuff. Inspect current React UI. So it looks now, it's designing the new UI, reading the HTS topic. I'm sure we'll get a pretty good output.
Yeah, I think that AI models are getting pretty good at front end work.
Yeah, they are. I mean, the thing which I still dislike about AI is they go over the top. They're doing like, for a good example is over here. It's using this use memo hook.
Right.
Use memo, which yes, it's technically the most optimized way so that you don't have to, it's a more optimized way of building React components. But all it is for now is like, this is something which you should sort of add after you get the functionality working, just so you know that, okay, it's not because I've got use memo is why it's not working. And it just adds all of this boilerplate.
Yeah, I feel, it's almost like all of the LLM programming tools need to have some like LLM product manager sitting with them.
Yeah.
It's like the AI product manager can look at this stuff and be like, hey, we probably don't need this yet. Let's descope this. Let's simplify that.
Right. Because it always tries to do more, and I think that's partly with how they're trained as well. They're trained to basically please humans. Here we go. Look, it's now getting use callback. Like, come on, bro. We don't need use callback.
Right. This is
what I'm saying. It's like
it needs to be working with like a product AI.
Yeah.
But as a product manager, I always think that product needs to be closer in the system, whereas a lot of engineers think like, get the product people out of here. We don't need these guys.
Well, I think only when the product guy doesn't really know his tech, because it then just becomes, why are you even here? Why are you even here if you don't, if you've never coded in your life?
Yeah.
You don't know what an API stands for. What are you doing here?
Right.
But obviously, you were coding back in the day. Man was out on the Java team, weren't you?
That's right. I saw somebody tweet yesterday. I was like, what was the first language you wrote Hello World in? And I was like, Java.
Java.
Yeah.
I don't even think I've ever done a Hello World in Java.
When I went to university, it was like Java was it was like becoming like the biggest, hottest programming language. And the year I joined uni, they just moved from C to Java.
Wow.
What a change, huh?
Why is it checking whether fetch exists? It's just so over the top.
It's just trying to do too much.
And it wrote something over here. It says,
this ChatGPT.
It's like this is the newest. Bro, it's running Python.
It's running.
Not right now, no. Yeah, but why? Look, it's writing Python code to see if we've got ASCII characters, because it somehow over here said it said somewhere the user prefers non-ASCII characters. It's like, what are you doing? Tests? Okay, no, don't write tests. Don't write tests. What was that? That was, how long was that? That was about,
Had to be like
I don't know,
6
quite
minutes.
a long time. Yeah, but like, what's it doing over here?
It shows you how you really got to like, it would pay to tune the system prompt for your own personal dev agent to work exactly like how you want it to work.
Yeah, I think it's ready. I think we've got it. I think it is. We're just writing tests in the end. Boom. It's not so bad, is it? I mean, attempt to coup. I like that. I like that. That's funny. Okay, cool. So we've got current king, boom, price they paid, consensus time. Oh, look, it's actually already done it without us even asking.
Fallen Kings.
Fallen Kings.
Well, that's just the timestamp. Yeah, that's the timestamp. I was thinking duration as king.
Duration.
Yeah, duration as king.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see if let's attempt a coup. Ah, brilliant. Yeah. See, this is exactly what I mean. It would be like some of this all of this use callback nonsense, which is, or is it because we don't have this server running? Yeah, that might be why.
Our facilitator's not running.
The x402 server is not running.
Yeah. Okay.
So we did the plan. So this is the plan for the refund stuff. Let's cancel that. Let's go back to our server and run that. So let's see if our UI can dethrone the king.
All right.
Invalid input, max amount required. What's it done here? Topic ID. Handle dethrone, that's what we're looking at. Yes, it seems to have somehow omitted fetch with payment. Max amount required. Invalid input. Why is that saying invalid input? Handle plain request. That's not relevant. So this is the logic we had before. X payrolls looks pretty similar. Not sure exactly why. Max amount required.
This is a 402 error?
Yeah, something around that point. That's strange.
This
Now
is
this doesn't
the
work either.
this is the pros and cons of building with AI.
I wonder if this plan actually made any changes to the code. Because now the other thing, now this, what did work before is now not working.
Do we have file diffs that we can roll back?
Yeah, we can take a look at.
Because
Over
I think
here.
just looking at the time, we should scrap the rebate side of it.
Yeah. I agree. Strange how, I wonder, it might even be because, or is it this? No, not that, too fixed. Okay, let's just take a look at some of the logs and let's see if there's any issue with some of this fetching and whatnot. So we've got, just need to add some console logs around here. We have and while I do that, let's also see if analyze this error message after I get after trying to form a coup. Okay, so we've got those logs in. Yeah, what else do we need? Yeah, let's see if these logs help us decode anything. Invalid input, that's strange. No, it looks all right. I don't know why.
I wonder if we revert back completely.
Well, but to be honest, looking at the errors coming from explicit schemas, rejects in the field.
Because it should have been, I mean,
it be positive. Price calculations has a string. If it's negative, it's not negative. If the topic message is missing, it might be because it's I think it's somewhere over here. I think it's to do with this price. That's a string. I think if we just pass it through as a number over here, let's see if that resolves it. try that. Price to be paid for the resource. Price should be string number ERC20 minus SPR. No, that's fine. Max amount required. Let's add some logs over here. Because that was also, I think it was said something about max amount required, didn't it? Yeah, we're always running it tight on time, anyway. We'll get there.
Always.
We'll get there. Okay. Max amount required. 337.5. So I think that's why. Because this is 1, 2. Okay, it's because I did the dodgy math. So over here, yeah, okay, so actually, I think this should be 6. Shouldn't be 8. It should be 6, which I think is what you said. Let's try this. Let's try it on the front end. I'm so confident that I think this will actually work. Hey.
Nice. There we go.
Yeah, so just for those of you who wanted to understand what was happening, it's because it was to do with decimals, where it was trying to tell the EVM, it was trying to tell something which doesn't understand decimals that the amount required is 337.5 decimals. So that's the reason why the error was being caused. But obviously by fixing the decimal issue, we can now send the correct amount, and probably if we refresh the page, we should see a third king, and we now need to attempt a coup, pay even more. So that's done. I mean, should we maybe really quickly try and do the... let's just get AI to...
Yeah.
First of all, I'm just gonna commit these changes so we can track our current progress. Yeah, and we could just, I mean, yeah, we can call it a day now, to be fair. I think you mentioned you got to drop off 10 minutes early, don't you?
Yeah, I do. I've got a hard stop.
Okay. Let's wrap up here. I think let's just wrap up in terms of what we've done. So we've built this user interface. We've built a dynamically priced x402 backend, which reads from a Hedera consensus service topic. So the backend takes from the Hedera consensus service topic. It goes, okay, who is the most recent to pay? What is the amount that they've paid? That's the king. So we've got basically this Hedera consensus service topic acting almost like a decentralized database. Our React app reads that. It goes, okay, who's the current king? You can see who the current king is, see who they've paid, see how much they've paid, and it lets the user attempt a coup. Meaning if you pay more than the previous person, you then become king of the hill.
That's right. One thing we could try to squeeze in here in the last couple of minutes is adding the duration for each king.
Let's do that. So we're going. For the JS, add a creation that the previous kings have mode to their title form.
Yep.
That should be nice and quick. But yeah, and then I guess on the actual backend side, we've got this special x402 server, which uses a dynamic pricing mechanism. So as you can see, just as a comparison to what it looks like with a typical x402 server, a typical x402 server on the right-hand side, which is just using, for example, the Express middleware. If I have a particular endpoint, let's say this weather endpoint, and I want to charge for it, I use this payment middleware and I just give it a price. But the problem with this is that it's a fixed price. It's static. Whereas for our use case, we want to have a dynamic price for the same endpoint, which is this king of the hill endpoint. And in order to create a dynamic price, you need to sort of manually create your own payment requirements, as opposed to just letting it being created by this payment middleware utility function. So right-hand side, we have the easiest x402 server. You just use the out-of-the-box middleware utility. On the left-hand side, we've got our custom implementation of x402, which allows us to create a dynamic price where every time you request it might slightly change. This would be useful for things like, I guess also things like AI. If you're looking to have an AI endpoint, like a large language model being served as an x402 endpoint, you can price it differently based on the input tokens. So if someone has an input of 100 words or 100 tokens, you might charge them more than someone who has an input of 10.
I think the dynamic pricing is pretty interesting. Added timestamp.
Yeah. I think it allows a lot more flexibility.
Yeah, let's see if it was able to correctly held for. Okay, let's give it a test real quick. Let's just run back-to-back new kings and see if
that's definitely not right. That's definitely not right.
Okay.
Held for 54 minutes.
And it should have.
We started unless it's because.
It might be right. Well, it should also have the.
Oh, yeah. I think I'm being
crown.
Yeah.
Crown held for the current king. It needs crown held for the current king as well. But that would require taking system time and subtracting.
Yeah. No, it has got it. It has got it right actually. I was just being an idiot. So yeah, because this is. "24 seconds, 24 minutes. Yeah. Let's. Do you want to do it now, or do you need to drop off?
Yeah, let's try to do it now. Add king 4 time for the current king.
Time. Oh, and should we have it updating in real time?
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh man, I'm ready for some screen off time.
Screaming into the finish line again. We do. We are.
Nah, we've done the main bulk of this stuff. It's nice to have.
That's true. That's true.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we can do the refund next. Time on throne. Hey, 7 minutes 35. So if we dethrone it, it should say about 7 minutes.
Yeah. Oh no.
No, I don't have the backend server running.
Oh.
Let's so 752. Bruh. What?
The same maximum required.
Ah, same thing.
Same
Look,
thing.
it's done the stupid decimal thing.
It reintroduced that bug?
No, I think this is why is that? New price. Ah, do you know what it is? It's because I've done this number thing. Okay. That's it's because again I've converted a string into a number. I've never had problems this bad with this JavaScript maths, but I think that it's all come in this one go. So that was because over here when we logged it, it was correct. Then it converted. Well, then I asked it to convert it to a number, and it. Look at that. I think it's 507 is. But yeah, maths in coding is deceptively.
It should be easy enough just to
should
round.
Should be 9 minutes. Should
All
be
right.
9. Broski. Did I restart the server? I don't think I did restart the server. No, I did. Max amount required. What's? Come on, mate. Oh no, it's because I did the wrong thing though. Max amount required. Brother. Atomic amount per asset. Interesting. Okay, let's do. This is. Yeah, I think this may be actually just an x402 bug on our implementation. Because. This is not done on my side. This is, but we can fix it if we say, if we do this, if we go, let's convert that to a number, and then over here we do two precision, and then 0. Now we do math.floor, math.round. Doing massive sort of hoops. I think this will work. Massive workarounds to get this to work, but let's see.
We're still early in this whole
export. There we go. That time it worked. Because yeah, we then converted it to the string. So that should be, oh look, it's thinking it's HBAR and it's actually USDC. But here we go. That's worked. So now we've got this new one on the throne. 11 minutes. Yeah, cool. Let's just quickly change all of these HBAR mentions to USDC because
yeah,
that's a bit stupid. Yeah, cool. But yeah. So 51 seconds again if we try it another time.
We're going to try it from the front end.
This one should now be 57 seconds. Perfect. Cool. I think we're done.
Man, that's great.
Done.
We did it. So we
got
good
progress.
Yeah, this was good today. You know, we didn't quite get to the rebate part, but that's a clear feature for next time. And
rebate, NFT.
Yep.
Do the NFT.
Yeah, we could. But we added the duration of king. See who's long lived or not.
Yeah. We've got to deploy this at one point. I think it could get
we will.
usage.
I think after our next session we should. After we add the rebate, I think that's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah. That could be one of the outputs of Hashgraph Hustlers.
That's right. That's a good one. Well,
Amazing.
great stream today, Jake. Appreciate the hustle. Looks like we had over 180,000 views on X. I haven't looked
Look
on.
up.
Yeah, I didn't look on LinkedIn, Instagram, or YouTube, but yeah, we're this is a good one. The people like x402 stuff.
Hey. All right.
All right, mate. Well,
To keep the momentum going, even though we're going to be in a bit of a different time zone than that.
That's right. That's right. Remember, everyone, to go over to the portal, create your portal account, check out the dev tooling. What was the site again?
So that's the playground, the Hedera playground. But yeah, if you go to portal.hedera.com, you can find the playground over there. It's a nice, easy way to spin up Hedera and start getting tested on it.
Yep. Thanks for the recommendation to release the NPM package for our x402 SDK. Thank you for that. We've definitely added that to the backlog. And stay tuned. We've got a lot more cool stuff in x402 land coming.
Peace out, everyone.
Yeah, thank you guys. See everyone.